First of all, thank you so much for your comment. I know this morning the weather is not that friendly. It's really a great pleasure for me to share with you my current research on Arabic calligraphy written by contemporary Chinese Muslims, in particular 1980s, 90s, and early 2000s. So let me first try. Oh, cool. So for Chinese Muslims, they really have a long history of the tradition of writing in Arabic beautifully. In the past, an Arabic calligraphy can be found today in their social, cultural, and religious life. So in the past, a piece of Arabic calligraphic work was called Jingzi Hua. So literally means painting of scriptural characters. However, in the 1980s, the terms Islamic calligraphy and Arabic calligraphy, these two terms were introduced to China. So the Chinese word, which corresponds to English word calligraphy, is 书法. So in the 1980s or since then, in Chinese discourse, there is Islamic 书法, 伊斯兰书法, and Arabic 书法, 阿拉伯书法. And some of these calligraphic works that designed or written since 1980s, they share one thing in common, and that is the coexistence of Arabic and Chinese script, and that's why I'm getting interested in this. So in this presentation, I'm discussing three clusters of works. And these three clusters are actually also, okay, so the first one is Arabic titles, front covers and masthead of Islamic periodical, and the second is the works by Li Guangjiang, and third by Zhang Chengzhi. So they're also vastly dissimilar in many aspects, including mediums and places of presentation, motifs of creation, expected functions, target audiences, messages delivered to those audiences, publicity, and identities of the calligrapher. Each of these three clusters represent one case of how contemporary Chinese Muslims manage Arabic letters in specific social and cultural context and for specific purpose. It's from this perspective that they together constitute a story of how Arabic script was crafted 3 times by the hands of contemporary Chinese Muslims, and that's why I put threads crafted this term in the title. So in the following presentation, I'll briefly give introduction about these 3 clusters of works one by one, and then we review several selected works. So regarding the first one, the medium of the first cluster of calligraphic works is Islamic periodicals, and those printing materials are the immediate product outcome of religious revival. So in the 1960s, or from 1966 until 1976, in contemporary Chinese history, that's the 10-year Cultural Revolution. So it's a 1 decade of social and political chaos. In those dark days or darkest days, religious activities were suppressed, religious places were shut down by order, religious figures were put to jail, and also books, materials of religious content were burned or confiscated. So for Muslims, this means, or this caused at least a generational break of the production and transmission of even the most basic Islamic knowledge among themselves, which had not been well popularized among themselves. So there's no surprise that when the state policies towards religions, towards economy, cultural and press media, everything was liberalized gradually since 1978. When China implemented reform and opened up policy, so some Islamic schools and mosques, they took root and they used the printing press to produce and circulate those materials among themselves in Muslim communities for the purpose of cultivating their faith and planting the seed of religion. So on the cover, on the front cover and masthead of this periodical, there is not only Chinese title, but also Arabic title. So the purpose of containing the Arabic titles is to highlight the Islamic nature of the periodical on the one hand, and on the other hand, to attract and call the Muslims to come to open it and to read it. Regarding the second cluster, the works by Mi Guangjiang, if you have been interested in Chinese Arabic calligraphy for a while, I'm sure you are familiar with the name of this calligrapher. He's internationally well known, specifically for Sini script. So now, I'm sorry. Nowadays, the term Sini has been used widely and loosely to refer to Chinese-style Arabic calligraphy. But my focus here on Sini script in the narrow sense. So that means Arabic restyled in the shape of Chinese characters, a genre which is actually also invented by Mi Guangjiang in 2003, but now becomes his trademark. So the word here, it looks like the Chinese character name, but actually it's written by the Arabic word as salam. And he gifted this to Harvard Art Museum in 2004. Let's move to, this is Zhang Chengzhi. So Zhang Chengzhi is also a famous Muslim figure, but not for his calligraphy. For his novels and essays, he's a very influential, Muslim influential writer in China. He's also a writer. He's also a writer of multilingual capability. For example, on the left is a picture of the manuscript of the first poem that he wrote in Mongolian language, and that poem later on was published in a literature journal. And he's not only Mongolian, also he's fluent in Japanese. And on the right side is the lyrics of the song titled "Xibei People Love President Mao." So Xibei people is an East Asia ethnic group. And Zhang Chengzhi, he wrote down the lyrics in Manchu alphabet. Well, the works of Mi Guangjiang can be found in galleries and museums, such as the British Museum and National Museum of Scotland. Zhang Chengzhi's calligraphy goes to the household of peasants, of Muslim peasants. And another noticeable difference between the works of these two calligraphers is that, unlike Mi Guangjiang, Zhang Chengzhi, he doesn't fuse different scripts into one. So he writes in each script, and then each piece of writing is one component of the whole piece of work. And here I forgot to share a work, but later we'll see that. So this is a very brief introduction of the three clusters of works. My focus is not about their afterlife. It's not about how the audience they feel about it, they react, they analyze it. But my focus is on the image and the text by using the text as theory. So writings can be visually powerful, and anthropologist Adam Chow, he defines powerful public writing as writings and inscriptions that can deal and exude power that are recognized by their audience as far more forceful than ordinary writing. And he defines various forms of powerful writing as text acts. And in the case of Arabic calligraphy that I examine here, the practitioners, they produce a certain visuality in order to arouse reactions from the target audiences, sometimes activate, sometimes reactivate their awareness of certain issues. And I call this form of powerful writing lettering act, which is a subclass of the generic class of text acts. So in the first cluster, the title's bilingual combination of Chinese-Arabic verbal visual communication is one way of wedding Arabic with Chinese, and can be categorized or grouped as four categories of an interlingual metric. So the first cluster the first metric is literally faithful and visually legible. So some editors, they prefer a Chinese title that can accurately and immediately reflect the Islamic nature of the periodical. So their word choice keeps the Chinese title short and to the point. For example, this one. So the title is Muslim Knowledge. It's quite clear, right? And then the Arabic title just above it is faithful literal translation of Muslim knowledge. The Arabic title functions to emphasize the meaning of the Chinese one through repeating it. The process of this repetition is facilitated by visual plainness, legibility, and diacritics. Another example is the periodical 求知, seeking knowledge or seek knowledge. So in Chinese and in Arabic, this word 求知 or talab al-ilm is easily reminiscent of hadith saying, which is very popular among Chinese people. Seek knowledge, even if you have to go as far as China. So very popular, even is a weak hadith. In the second matrix, faithful translation, however, is visually pictographic. A canonical pictograph is mosque. The picture of the masthead on the left. The Arabic title is the word al-hilal, means the crescent. The script took the form of a high minaret and an imposing dome, which easily and immediately inspired a mental picture of mosque. A slim crescent above the dome echoes the title of the periodical. As the most recognizable Islamic symbol for Muslim readers, it generates a sense of Muslim identity and spiritual cohesion. But visual literacy doesn't merely refer to readers' ability to interpret, negotiate, and make meaning from information presented in the form of an image, but also to the literacy in Arabic and be able to literally make sense of the lines and appreciate in combination with the form of the image which was composed by this line. So the example is on the right side. The Arabic title is Light of Islam, Nur Islam. The letters were designed as mosque as well. The patterns of the minarets and domes were shaped by the calligraphic drawing of the Arabic letters of the word Islam. And the Arabic word light or nur sits in the middle of the dome and in a legible scribal form. By visualizing the concept of Islam as mosque, one way of interpreting this image text is that the light of Islam is in or from mosque, thereby reminding Muslim readers that the mosque is where they would experience the light of Islam and recalling to them the duty of prayer. In the third category, the rich lexical semantic resources that Chinese language could offer entail the Chinese-Arabic bilingual and interlingual management for a collective effect. I put two examples here because the Chinese titles contain the same Chinese character, Lü, which is also a semi-bound lexic. The character Lü alone could be adjective or noun, means green or something green or greenery. The editor of the magazine on the left, he chose the character as the title, just Lü, and he said, Lü or green symbolizes life and hope, and we student of Islamic knowledge are the hope of the future of Islam in China. So here a little bit background about this journal, or this magazine. It was founded by some Muslim student when studying in Damascus, Syria, in the 1980s and 2000s. Regarding the Arabic title, they put the oasis, Allah, so it's not the translation of green, right? I'm not aware of any primary sources that can inform me of the exact reason why this editorial team finally they settled on this Arabic word for the title. But my inference is that in thinking about the corresponding Arabic title, they probably started with thinking about a single Arabic word. The Chinese meaning could include the concept or the idea of green. And ideally, the Chinese translation, also shares the Chinese character Lü. So then probably that's how oasis, because oasis in Chinese is Lü Zhou, literally means green continent, but nobody really understands it as green continent, just oasis. And probably that's how this Arabic word came up to their minds. It's a metaphor implying that the editorial team members they expected this periodical to function ideally as an oasis in the desert of religion, offering Muslims inside China Islamic knowledge through the effort of Muslim students outside China in the Arab countries. Because the editor once he said, the revival of Islam in China is inseparable from communication to the Arab world. The periodical on the right, the Chinese title is Lu Yin means green shades. They didn't do a word-by-word translation, but rather they put the shades in plural form between the two Chinese characters. This Arabic word is sensible particularly to those Muslims who not only have a written literacy in Arabic, but also have a certain degree of exposure to Islamic knowledge and or the history of Arab Muslim intellectuals, because there is a highly influential commentary of the Quran authored by Sayyid Qutb titled In the Shades of the Quran. And putting the definite article before the words shades make it clear to some Muslim readers that this word refers to the Quran or Islam. And this is even self-evident given that this periodical belongs to a local Islamic charity. So the last matrix. This is the second periodical, and this is the first periodical, and both of them founded by the same person, literally void and visually pictographic. So that refers to the management, the arrangement of that the Arabic script themselves have no meaning, and is the calligraphic writing form that make the Arabic construct somehow sensible. So the first periodical, this one, Plato, published from 2002 until 2011. So the Arabic companion of the Chinese title is just a letter pad. So in the interview, the founder, he said, the front cover design was even more a headache for me. I had to think very hard about it, though I myself had experience in decoration and design. Then one day I was on the bus, a coincidence happened. I suddenly saw a huge billboard outside the bus window. On that billboard, there are several simple Chinese characters and the symbol ampersand. The whole pattern gives people a sense of simplicity, and I suddenly thought of the Arabic letter. Later on, I decided to use one Arabic letter for each issue's front cover and use craft paper for the front cover. So here, perspective of materiality. Both work together to convey simplicity, a sense of home, as well as a sense of atmosphere of book learning. Meanwhile, such design constitute a contrast to those dazzling designs of the time. And in the second, so while this periodical was discontinued for some reasons, so he to go back. Okay, that's the okay. Oh, it's good that I was listening to pictures. Yes, let's try. And then this is the second periodical that he continued since 2013, and he continued the style, the principle of simplicity, and he put the letter back there to imitate the shape of the ear, because the title of this journal, of this periodical is Listening, and he chose the English all ears. Yeah. So this is the first cluster, and the second cluster, single script in narrow sense by Mi Guangjiang, the trademark of Mi Guangjiang. So I once asked him how this idea of restyling Arabic letters in the shape of Chinese character came, and he said, it was in 2003 I accompanied Peter Sanders, a renowned British photographer, to China for his photographic project on the Silk Road. We were at the railway station in Sini, waiting for our friend to come and pick up. I inadvertently look up, noticing the character name there. Probably already this right, the second character in this one. And he said, I look up and notice the character name in the word Sini. I thought, is it possible to visualize it through Arabic script? I paused to think for a while and attempted after going home. That's how the word mean. This one came to be. Yeah. And we see another word, the same Arabic words, but resemble different Chinese characters. It's Wei. So the vertical line on the left, this part, is ink drip. So when he finished that word, that piece of work, he lifted before the ink got dry. And he said his immediate reaction was the whole piece of work had been ruined. But when he looks closely at it, he was very excited. He said, well, it's wonderful because it looks like the character Wei. Wei means great or greatness. The changing of the rules of writing the traditional Islamic calligraphy under Li Guangjiang's brush aims to create an image text which visualizes and substantiates a harmonious relationship between Islamic and Chinese calligraphy. This harmony that calligraphy in Sini script exudes roots into coexisting literacy-related effect. The constructed unrecognizability, which is semi-recognizability at the same time. So people who are literate in Arabic, they cannot recognize the brush lines are Arabic. And for people who are literate in Chinese, can only guess very hard sometimes which character the image most resemble. So the third cast are the works of Zhang Chengzhi. So we finally see a piece of work consisting of different writings or writings in different scripts. So since early 1990s, Zhang Chengzhi had already incorporated Arabic script in his calligraphy, and he considered writing with brush is a way to communicate the face, to understand the face. And he even borrowed the Islamic term dawa to coin a new term, Maudi dawa, brush dawa. And in his view, calligraphy in brush needs to match four elements. First, like literature having stories behind the words, there should be stories behind the ink brush. It's those stories that tell everything. And second, being literary, containing literal words composed by the writer of the calligraphy himself, such as couplets, sentences, or poems. And third, the writing style should be immediately recognizable. And fourth, the writer needs to be equipped with basic skills of calligraphic writing. He also set three principles for himself with respect to writing calligraphy. He doesn't imitate literates' behavior, and he doesn't pretend to be a calligrapher. And the second, whenever writing something calligraphic, he said he would let the ink present something creative. And he mentioned, for example, he created content of couplet. And third, be careful about exchanging calligraphic gift with literates. And he even wrote, it doesn't enter the household of officials. Peasants use my calligraphic writings for window decoration. And he even once jokingly said that he writes only for peasants, Muslim peasants in Northwest part. So the calligraphic work here, the title is with pen and with the covenant written by it. So the text in the middle, the text is the first ayah of one Quranic surah, Surah Gulf, meaning Gulf but glorious of Quran, so very short verse. So it's a gift he wrote for a Muslim peasant family in Shago, which is northwest part of China. And vertically standing right in the middle of this work looks like a bulky pen barrel. Which is actually the first letter of the word the Quran. So the content that reflects the theme of this piece of work is in the couplet, which is written on red paper. The meaning of that couplet is six branches bundled into one arrow, be brothers in this life and in the afterlife. And we see another piece of gift that he we see so he's this in the middle. Yeah. So this is another piece of work. About the Arabic part is very similar to the last one that we see, right? The couplets, the theme is the same, being brothers, but the content or the way that he wrote that piece of couplets is very much different. He's a writer. So finally, I want to end my presentation with a piece of work that doesn't really conclude Arabic script except this one, this part. So the main content, he actually transcribed four Islamic concepts into Chinese. transliterate. So the meaning of this piece of work is: do not indulge in talking about religion. Just implement peace. Do not complicate Islamic canons. Just look carefully at the one. Yeah, I think I'm gonna stop here. Thank you so much.